All right. So far what we see that how we are going to recover a scenario where either a website or a web pool, any of them have a problem. But let's say there is no problem. Everything is perfect, but by mistake, someone delete this website itself. Because if someone delete the application pool, I can create another application pool and I can change my website to use this application pool. But scenario is different. Scenario is that someone delete this a specific website itself. Then when the website is deleted, nothing going to help me to recover, because database contains the information about data and a configuration, but service information is stored in IIS. So it is totally different scenario. Or sometimes it happens that someone might do some kind of an script which is gonna change my default website internal configuration. Yes, if we want to perform level 400 troubleshooting, we can still figure it out and correct it. But level 400 troubleshooting is a very rare case where we might have to open a case with Microsoft, and Microsoft senior system engineer will come and try to fix these issues. But in general, in our hand, what we can do, because this scenario can be anytime happen. I have my website and someone might remove the website. So for an example, this is my website, my demo website, which is going to use application pool, which is a demo website. And let's say for an example, this website is going to use a folder where I have all the configuration is a demo website. All right, I can go and maybe I can use another port just so that it should not be conflict with another one, and I can create that one. I have my website, and related to the website, I also have a pool. So if someone delete the pool, I have an option that I can reconfigure my website to use that pool. But what will happen, a scenario where someone come here and say, remove this website. It's gone. Or maybe some script run, a virus get attacked, and they corrupt my website itself. Then I have no way to recover it. So stopping a service getting a service corrupted, still we have a scenario where we can recover it. But why we have a scenario where we can manage or we can restore my web application, my website, which is hosted in IIS. Again, it's my responsibility. So what is the best way we have? This IIS is also capable of giving you a feature through which you might go and recover the site or recover the web page itself. Or maybe you can take a backup of the website and you can restore whenever you need that. So it means that there is a various ways through which we can manage my website operation. We can create my website application or configure that one. So where the website going to store the data? The website by default going to store the data in a folder which is called inetpub. Now in inetpub, I have something which is called a www root. In www root, this is exactly a content where every information is going to a store about my site, and also about my other, whatever the other separate configuration. So the best way that every time when you make a big changes in your site, every time when you have something which you make some changes in your SharePoint site, come here, have this inet pub, right click the www root, make a copy, paste somewhere where you can go and store in case of some disaster happen. Maybe we can go and keep it on some other site, on some other server where we can restore it back. Because all your website, whatever the website we are going to see, every website is going to have a similar directory where it is go and configure that where my website code is. So all which you are seeing here, this is a small directory is going to store there. So when we have my data with me, this data I can use to restore my complete website configuration. So I can go and map a separate physical path. This is what exactly it is going to give me, that how we are going to manage my website configuration in SharePoint. First, you must check what error exactly coming. If error say that website cannot be reached, check immediately the web application. So depending on the error, error 1, website cannot be reached. Go and check your website in IIS. While the error is website is reached, but no content displayed. Check your application tool. So you have both the feature which you can go and enable, or you can go and check in a different scenario how we can go and protect that. In a third scenario, it is going to say that this website does not exist. Check your URL. In this case, chances that something has been deleted in my IIS directory, which is basically inetpub, and within inetpub I have a folder called www root. Now this is very important folder. This folder going to contain information about my physical website itself. Or even if I want that something which I want to implement on my IIS, and when I want to have make it more mandatory for us to check I'm going to enable IIS 6 management console. Now this management console is going to give me certain other feature which are through which we can go and control my website in a much better way. It's called IIS management, IIS 6 management console. So IIS play a very important role in SharePoint world because SharePoint only support Windows, no other operating system. In Windows, only web server available with us is Internet Information Server. You cannot install Apache or a Tomcat. SPVM. It's not letting connect. Oh my God. Let me to see SP admin. Hold on for a moment. It is asking me to install. Wait for a sec. Once installed, we can see some other feature and capability. All right. It's done. Let me try now. Yes. Oh my goodness. SPVM. So here what exactly we have? We have something which is called backup and restore configuration. Second feature what I get, save configuration to the disk. So it means that using this IIS 6.0 console, if we want, we can also take the backup from here. Now it requires certain prerequisite and all. I'll just leave it. But we have something which is called backup and restore configuration, which we can use to back up my IIS. Now, everything is fine. All things looks fine. But what happen if a background service which running my IIS itself is gonna stop now? So we have a service which is called World Wide Web Publishing Service. It is a service of Windows operating system on which my IIS run. On this IIS, my SharePoint run. So some of the time, if any issues or something happen with my operating system itself, this World Wide Web servicing go from running to a stop mode. And when it go from running to a stop mode, everything within my SharePoint infrastructure is gonna stop now. So it means that when this World Wide Web services is stopped, everything within my SharePoint infrastructure is come to an halt. Just because my every service, no matter this service related to IaaS, this service related to a website, everything just look at that, it gonna in a stopped mode now. Means there is no problem in my SharePoint, my installation perfect, my configuration perfect, no problem in my web server installation and configuration is also perfect. Problem now happen on my Windows service. And because of this Windows service, it stopped my critical service, which is called IIS. And since my IIS stopped, everything within my infrastructure is stopped. And I get no clue. So what I do as an administrator now, with the moment I feel or face this situation, I know that what should I do? So I will click that one and I say a start. Oh my God. Something I'm not able to start. Let's try this one. A start. Nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. So simple a start and a stop, which we just did 10 minutes before, is now not working. And I have no clue what happened. 10 minutes back, I'm able to start, stop, do everything. 10 minutes later on, what something happened which through which we are not able to start. So neither I am able to start my website, nor I am going to start my application tool. Everything go on a halt mode now. Be gone. Just because the service which is related to my IIS, which is responsible, has some problem. Problem somewhere, impact somewhere, and the ultimate impact is on my SharePoint. So as a SharePoint admin, now I am running a problem. My site is not stopped. I start getting a call from my user. I'm not getting the SharePoint up. What happened? How long you are going to take to fix it up? I have a very important document to retrieve. I have a very important document to share. And we are in a problem. It means that when we see an integrated service scenario where I have my SharePoint, which is tied up with my IIS, and what IIS exactly tied up with? My IIS is tied up with two things: on a Windows directory and a Windows service. So it is tied up with two things. One is a Windows directory, which is nothing. It's a by default inetpub, and on my worldwide publishing service, which is my Windows service. So if there is a problem anywhere in my virtual directory, if it is deleted, corrupted, modified, if my service get deleted, corrupted, modified, my IIS won't run. When my IIS won't run, my SharePoint gone for a toss. Can't do anything. Look at that, how the relationship has been established everywhere. So when I say I am a SharePoint admin, 50% I am also a Windows admin, end of the day. Because my SharePoint is running on a Windows. When I say that I am a SharePoint admin, 50% also I am a web server admin. Because my SharePoint is running on a website. Otherwise, in a very, very ideal world, Windows responsibility of Windows admin, website responsibility of a development admin, SharePoint is my responsibility. But in an integrated scenario where everything is related to each other, my SharePoint is totally dependent on IIS. So I must at least know a middle level of understanding about the IIS, because this end of the day, this IIS is going to impact my service. And at some level, we also need to understand the Windows as an operating system, because if there is any problem in my Windows operating system or my Windows service, it is going to impact me. So when one service, which is called World Wide Web Published Service, get a stop, my whole IIS get a stop. And when my whole IIS get a stop, my SharePoint is not working at all. And this exactly a scenario where we are going to pitch in and try to figure it out, where is the problem. And we found that none of the services, if we are able to start and stop, we even not able to do my general admin task, then it means that it is not a problem of my IIS, problem somewhere else. Then we start searching the services point of view. Does any of my service which is responsible to run my website, does that service has a problem? We find it out, yes, this specific service, which is a worldwide web publishing service, is a problem. So most of the scenario, as an admin, we restart the server itself. This is also a good idea, because when you restart the server, everything will by default come in a default mode, and it is going to run as it is. So we are going to see that where the problem come and how the service is going to be help me out. So it means that it is my responsibility that whenever the system has a problem, we need to figure it out, where is the problem. Now, if the problem related to my web services infrastructure, I must fix and troubleshoot this problem before moving ahead. So what all things we can see from a website. When the website cannot reach, check the website in IIS. Website is able to reach, but nothing is displaying in the console. Check application tool. When it's clear cut through and message that website not exist, check your URL. Immediately go and see, is there any problem with your inetpub www root folder? Someone might delete this folder itself. And in a very recent scenario, I have seen that there is a virus called WannaCry. What this WannaCry does, one of the customer, they lock this folder. And whenever you click this folder, it is going to send a message that please pay me in a Bitcoin, then only I'm going to release that. And that customer has so many important website which is running inside this IAS. Check immediately this folder. Second, if nothing is run in a, neither in a SharePoint nor on a website, when everything seems stopped for you, check service. Check Windows service. And which Windows service? Especially World Wide Web Publishing Service. Independent service, whatever you install in SharePoint, whatever as a service you installed in a SharePoint, everything is gonna come as a service. Look at that. We have just installed user profile service. Where we installed? In SharePoint. But from where it is controlling? My Windows system. What will happen if this service be a stop from here itself? Then you are not able to get the user profile information in your SharePoint. And then you start troubleshooting. What happened? Why I'm not able to see any user information? Is there any problem with my AD? Ring, ring, ring. Hello, AD. Do you have any problem? No, everything is working fine. Then why I'm not able to see the information? Check IAS. IAS is all perfect. Because whatever we installed in my SharePoint as a service, that everything is configured in a background in a Windows operating system as a service. So it means that my SharePoint, all the service application which we have installed, like an user profile service, it is going to have an connection with my Windows service. So that is the reason why I'm able to see a start status. Why a start status? Because service in my Windows is in a start status. If service in my Windows is in a stop status, I'm going to see here a stop status now. And what is the magic thing? SharePoint give you no way to change the service status from a start to a stop and a stop to a start. For that, you have to go back to Windows service itself. So it means that as a SharePoint admin also, we are half Windows server admin as well. We are both. We are SharePoint administrator. We are also a Windows administrator. Because whatever we do in a SharePoint, end of the day, as a service, it is going to store the information in a Windows operating system. Whatever we do in a SharePoint, as an application, it is going to store the information in IIS. So it means that SharePoint itself is a very small application. So when I download the SharePoint, it download in just 3 minutes. How it is possible? It must take an hour because it should be a big package like an Oracle. But no, it's a 3 minute in downloaded. So what SharePoint said that I am a very lightweight because I myself very small, but I am going to use everything which is provided me in a background. For a database, I use SQL. For a user, I use AD. For website, I use IIS. For services, I use Windows services. So I am very small. I am pretty small. If you have to perform any troubleshooting, do not come to me first, come to all other four. So as a SharePoint administrator, my most of the time, sometimes not go in a SharePoint service itself. Sometimes it goes somewhere else. Might be I am fixing something in a Windows service. Might be I am fixing something in my IIS service. So if I see my total productivity time, which I should invest in my SharePoint, actually it's not, because SharePoint itself is a very small service. Whatever we do, whatever we configure, everything it is going to use the background service or the service which is out of the SharePoint itself, like Active Directory, like IIS, or like SQL Server. So in a different scenario, we have to respond differently. When a user or any of the website is not reached, check IIS. When user website is reached, but no content displayed, check app pool. And when website not exist message come, immediately go and check, does you lost your virtual directory folder or a directory where my IIS or my website are stored their information. And when everything seems to be stopped, nothing is working right for me, all are in a dark way, please check your Windows service. Windows service, when everything is stopped. But if everything is working, something is stopped. For example, I am not going to pull out the information of my user profile. I'm not going to pull out any search. Now, this is a different scenario. Everything is working, something special is not working. For example, where is a scenario that everything is working, all right, no problem, but something not. Maybe I can say I have a service called search, it is not working. Search service in SharePoint not working. Maybe something which I have, which is like a user profile service, not working. But by SharePoint working. I mean to say central admin working. User is able to access their website. But when they try to perform something search operation, that is going to throw an error, which was exactly happened last day whenever we try to search a site, it throw an error. And we try to find it out, then I have figured it out that it is related to my Windows, because my Windows has something which they develop an issue. So where we are going to check? If you have anything situation like that, immediately go in your SharePoint central admin, check your service application, start status. What we are going to check? Check in a central admin service status related to that particular service. So when I log into my central admin and when I come to my central admin site or service application, I'm going to find it out. It is displaying me a stop state. And when it is displaying me in a stop state, it means that something which is a stopped in a background, means that service related to a Windows, and there might be issues in my Windows operating system itself. So try start the service from Windows, because in a SharePoint you have no way to start or stop the service. The only way you have only way to fix up something like that. So I can check that, oh, my search service is started. My user profile is stopped. The moment you see a stopped, immediately come to the service first. Do not go here and there, because it is beyond your control now. It is beyond SharePoint control now, because SharePoint is not no more controlling this service. Who is controlling? It is controlling by my Windows system. So I can come here and I can say restart, stop, or whatever you like to do. This most of the time when you run a specific issues problem, this is what it is going to help you out to fix up something for you in a background. Every service, everything which we are configuring in my SharePoint, somewhere it is related to my web server, my Windows system, my Windows service. This is a pure play dependencies playlist. Always take a backup of your IDET folder, so that in case if something goes wrong, you still are in control to have everything to be recovered back. All right. So we just see that how we can use a different service which is available in my ecosystem of SharePoint, which include SharePoint itself, IIS, some part of Active Directory as well. And then we can think that we are actually develop a protection around my SharePoint infrastructure. In case if any something goes wrong, I have a plan or I have a way out to come out. And this all need to do sometime proactive. For example, telling my Active Directory administrator, can you please confirm, have you enabled recycle bin? No point, no harm of asking this question. Because I am dependent on Active Directory. If something goes to happen, how you can say that you are independent service? Maybe you are independent service, but I am dependent on you. No. If you are going wrong, I will be in problem. So dear Mr. Active Directory, please confirm me, have you enabled this specific service called recycle bin? And then for a safer side, I also enable a user profile service in my SharePoint, so that if anything wrong happen on Active Directory, at least I should be informed, so that I should prepare better to handle my user call. Other user is going to eat my brain. I'm not running, it is not login, I'm not able to access my SharePoint. I have to share a very important document. What should I do now? Hold on, guys, there is a problem in Active Directory. I have no problem in SharePoint. I am coordinating with my Active Directory administrator. But in a small organization where you are handling everything, then it is also your responsibility to enable these features, like take a backup of your web server, enable the recycle bin feature in Active Directory, or even worst case scenario, take a backup of Active Directory server itself. So this all are exactly making my system more robust, more better. So now let me come back, and we are now going to discuss about something on SQL Server. Tantana. All right.